Redrane Indoril was born in the Third Era 412, during the chaos of the blight in Morrowind. When Dagoth Ur's corruption started to spread, his father, Taris Indel, was a proud Ordinator and devout servant of the Tribunal Temple, sworn to uphold the will of the living gods. Redrane's earliest memories were sermons echoing in the grand halls of Vivec City, his father's golden mask a constant reminder of duty and faith. But as Dagoth Ur's blight took hold of the land, and the prophecies of the Nerevarine took hold of those fearing the sixth house, Taris's faith was shattered when no aid came, believing in the Tribunal's divine facade. When the attacks began on the people of Ardenfell, Taris turned away from the false gods and embraced the worship of the Reclamations, Azura, Methala, and Boethia. His defection was branded heresy, and the once revered Ordinator became an exile, a Ronin, cast out of both Temple and House Indoril. He took the title of Bonesaint, dedicating himself to guarding the holy shrines of the Reclamations and protecting Morrowind's sacred lands from defilers. Redrane, then a boy, witnessed his father's disgrace. House Indoril, once their shield and home, treated them as pariahs. Mockery and shame followed their every step. They wandered from tomb to ruined shrine, Taris teaching his son that faith was not about titles or power, but about enduring hardship for a greater purpose. For years they lived in obscurity, their lives a shadow of the honour they once knew, until they found their home at the Hola Mayan Monastery. Decades later, the eruption of the Red Mountain in the 4th Era of 5 devastated Morrowind, scattering its people and destroying much of what Taris had sworn to protect. When the Red Year struck, the father and son were tending to an ancient Daedric shrine in the Velothi Mountains. The ensuing chaos left them separated, and Taris was presumed dead beneath the ash. For weeks, Redrane searched for him, wandering through the choking soot and ash storms, finding only the remains of shattered shrines and displaced Dunmer. The loss of his father crushed Redrane. Taris had been his guide, his moral compass, and his protector. Alone and aimless, Redrane clung to his father's ideals, but the weight of his failure haunted him. He continued the work of the Bonesaint, guarding what shrines and holy sites he could find. But without his father, the task felt hollow. The Ashlands became his home, and solitude his only companion. In the decades that followed, Redrane became a wandering sentinel of the Morrowind's sacred ruins. He earned a reputation among the Dunmer as a quiet, brooding figure, an outcast who had inherited his father's resolve. Yet deep inside, Redrane carried a seed of bitterness. He felt abandoned by his gods, his people, and his house. Faith was no longer a comfort, it was a heavy chain binding him to the past that he can never reclaim. In the 4th Era, 201, he meditated before a broken shrine of Azura. Redrane experienced a vision. Azura herself, or so he believed, appeared to him in a dream cloaked in twilight. She spoke of his father's soul lingering in unrest. She revealed that Taris's ancestral Ordinator armour, his symbol of honour and duty, had been stolen decades ago, and now lay far in the north in the cold lands of Skyrim. It was worn by a bandit leader who had plundered it from Morrowind in the wake of the Red Year, and taken over and over again by bandit after bandit. Azura's voice urged Redrane to claim it, not just to honour his father, but to find his own purpose. The path to Skyrim was fraught with difficulty. Redrane had never ventured far beyond Morrowind, and the icy, foreign land felt as unwelcoming as the ash storms of his youth. He arrived in Skyrim as a man burdened by his past, an exiled son, a failed guardian, a Dunmer mistrusted by the Nords who remember the animosity of the Red Year and the Argonian invasion. It was in Skyrim that Redrane found himself at his lowest. His search for the stolen armour led him to a string of dead ends and hostile encounters, each one eroding his resolve. Yet each shrine he encountered along the way, abandoned, desecrated, or forgotten, reminded him of his father's words. Faith is endurance, not reward. Slowly he began to realise that his journey was not about the armour, but about rediscovering his own sense of purpose.